Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
I understand that's good day. Is that right? That's like the normal German greeting?
It's a normal German greeting during the day.
During the day.
If you're greeting someone in the morning, you would...
Guten Morgen.
Yes, exactly.
See, I've learned a couple of things, so I'm not totally awful at this. But, I mean, yeah. I don't know where I got that. I think I got that from probably television as a kid. Maybe from watching Hogan's Heroes as a kid. You have no idea what Hogan's Heroes is. So it was a sitcom that was on in the 70s about World War II, and all the Americans were brilliant, and the Germans that managed the POW camp were all kind of dumb.
You must have heard a lot of schnell, schnell and Hände hoch.
Schnell, that's like hurry up, right?
Yep.
And what was the second one?
Hände hoch?
I never heard that one.
I heard other people that had learned Hände hoch from...
Hände hoch?
Hände hoch.
Hände hoch, like a hands up?
Yep.
Hände hoch. I don't remember that one. They did count a lot because they were counting how many prisoners there were. And so, but I don't remember very far up into the counting. But there was 9 for no. And ja, and jawohl, jawohl, Commandant, or ja, Herr Commandant. That's what it was, jawohl, Herr Commandant. And so that's Schulze. He's always telling the colonel, obeying orders, jawohl. Which is now just ja, right? Ja is short for jawohl.
Yeah, jawohl has some more emphasis and really a little bit has that military, maybe kind of like yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
To it.
So if you were in a casual conversation, you said jawohl, he'd think, this guy's got to pull the stick out of his ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't use it unless you know exactly what it says.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Stick with yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is Paul Wheaton, and I'm here with
Susanne Schneider.
And we're going to attempt to have me learn German. Susanna learned it as a kid, right?
Yes, I'm a native German speaker.
And you managed to pick up English at some point. How did you learn English?
I learned English in school. I think we started in 5th grade, and that's...
Wow. So is that like a normal thing in Germany? Is like, hey, everybody learn English when you're in the 5th grade?
Pretty much. For my generation, pretty much.
And today?
And still today. I mean, just generations before me might not have done that yet. Oh, now I have to reveal my age.
No. Because the key is that we both know somebody who speaks only German.
And Austrian German at that.
Right. And that would be the mighty, the glorious, the amazing Sepp Holzer. And so when he was here 3 years ago, you were one of his translators.
Yes.
And then he was here about 2 months ago, and all of the translators, well, no, 2 of the translators came with him. But the thing is, okay, so yeah, he's from Austria. And so so I've visited with you and a couple of other people about, like, well, how is that so different? And then it sounds like the Austrian accent of German is a lot like an American trying to understand somebody from the deep outback of Australia. Is that about equivalent?
That might capture it, yes.
And then when they start, and so sometimes an Australian will talk. I've got a friend from Australia, and a lot of times he's talking, I can't understand anything he says, but he assures me it's English. So I while he was in town, and now he wants me to travel with him and go to a lot of his different projects, and he doesn't speak any English at all. But now, is it possible that his son Joseph, I know for a fact his son Joseph speaks a little bit of English, and it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But is it possible that when his son Joseph went to school in the 5th grade, that was like in Austria, that was part of the deal, learn English?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. That's very likely that he learned it in school, but Sepp obviously wouldn't have learned it in school.
So then the need...
Wouldn't have been exposed to it in school is what I want to emphasize, right? It's not that you didn't learn it even though you...
Right, right. So then if I go to Germany and Austria right now, that anybody that's like under the age of 50 will probably know
some English.
Yeah. Even though they don't use it daily.
Yeah, and there's a lot of media influence, There is all the cultural influence coming from the States that's popular in Germany, so that enhances it even for people that don't find reasons to have conversations in English, but many English words make it into culture. From movies, from music.
Oh, yeah, and they, well... My understanding is in Germany they've got a whole different taste in music than what we have here, but not so. They listen to all the popular music.
No, I don't know.
Okay, and then and the movies. Somebody was telling me that all the movies in Germany are dubbed in German.
That's true. That is true.
So then I guess I'm not following the part where they're going to be familiar with English from watching the movies.
Some words are simply use the English words, even when you're speaking German. And of course now I'm stumping myself because I can't come up with a really convincing example, but I'll throw one out when it comes to me.
Okay, all right. So I suppose most people, my days are very full, and I'm constantly cranking out new information about permaculture pretty much every day, and I'm thinking I don't have time to learn German. And on top of that, I don't know. I never thought to myself up until a couple of weeks ago that I would want to take even a moment to learn even one more phrase in German. But then I got this opportunity to go with Sepp Holzer, who is traveling the world, greening deserts, saving the world, projects in Spain and Portugal and Algeria, and now this big project in Siberia that he wants me to go and participate in. And when working with him, of course, all he speaks is German. So it seems like, so then somebody said, hey, Paul, check this out, this Pimsleur method. You get this collection of CDs, you listen to a half an hour a day for 10 days, and then at the end of the 10 days, you can speak some rather basic German, something to get by. And I'm thinking, well, when I'm driving around here and there, what the hell? I'm not doing anything else. I could do that. Easy enough. Stacking functions and all that. So so I got it, and it said it was $10. $10. I'm like, wow, that's really cheap. That's no problem. I'm in. $10. So I got it, and I played it, and the technique is that they had a German conversation that took place. It took like 20 seconds to have a German conversation, and then they kind of started breaking it down so you can understand the conversation. So that's what the whole half hour is about. Let's break down this 20-second long conversation, and so they start off with "excuse me" as the first one, and then it says, "Do you understand English?" And so then when they got through the translation of "Do you understand English?" then they moved into going back to "excuse me." So go ahead and you should remember "excuse me." And it's like, no, I totally forgot it. I got it. So I'm backing the CD up and trying it again. And so and when you get to the end of the CD, it says, if you retained 80% of it, then shut it off, and tomorrow do another 30 minutes. Do the next thing. Do the next chunk. And but if you haven't, then today you need to start over at the beginning. Do this again. So I went all the way through it twice, and I still didn't have 80%. I ended up listening to the part about "excuse me" 40 times. And I sat there in my car and said, as I'm driving, and it was a long trip, fortunately. So I'm driving, and I said the German version of "excuse me" and "entschuldigen Sie." I said it over 100 times, probably 120 times. And while I'm saying it, it is just not sticking in my head. And so finally I come up with, in order to just remember this one stupid phrase, just this thing that's so natural that seems like it's for everybody else. It's so natural. For me to remember this, I decided that it's got an ent. So that's those tree things in the Lord of the Rings. Remember that? Lord of the Rings, the ents, the trees that talk. Yeah. And then so there's an ent. And shul, it's like school, but it's not quite.
And it is, in fact, the German word for school. It's Schule.
Oh, Schule is school? Okay.
Yeah, but it's not. That's not why it's in this word. But it's just.
Boy, now you're just screwing everything. Now I'm getting even more confused. So I thought maybe it's like school, but it's shul. Mm-hmm. And the other one I thought is like, what was the name of that guy that was living in Sigourney Weaver's refrigerator in that movie Ghostbusters? Remember Ghostbusters?
I remember Ghostbusters. I don't remember who lived in the refrigerator.
So you remember Sigourney Weaver's in the movie, right? And then it's like there's this monster living in her refrigerator, and his name is Zool or Shul, or I can't remember it. I am Zool, something like that. So all right, so then I've got this combination between school and the thing in Sigourney Weaver's refrigerator. Then deacon, which is like some kind of churchy guy, right? A deacon in a church, a deacon.
Right.
And then Z, which I kind of got through the Pimsleur thing. I'm starting to figure out that Z means you.
Yes.
Right. So Z is a common thing. Z is a pronoun for you.
Yes, but it's the formal pronoun for you. So the other complicating thing there is
no.
You don't want it.
You're gonna
like you would not use that with me because we are on
we've been friends for a long time.
Informal term.
Informal. If I said Z, if I referred to you as Z, you would think that I'm being so formal that I'm like I'm saying we are no longer friends. Z.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm going to say Z, and now I am distancing myself from you. I am terminating our relationship. Z.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. And so I've learned that the word that's used in Germany now is du. It's like dude, but it's like it's even more informal or less formal than dude. Like dude is just too formal. So it's dude.
Yes, that's very good. It is okay. Now, of course, then the form of the verb will be different than when you say Z. So
I'm not even thinking in terms of verbs really right now.
Yeah.
I'm barely cobbling together anything. But anyway, it's ent, shul, deacon, Z, and shul, deacon, Z.
Yeah.
Which I've now said so many hundreds of times that I can almost say it without it sounding like I'm trying to pronounce every little sound. And Schuldigen Z. And now I'm saying Deegan instead of Deacon. I'm not sure.
It's actually better. Because it's supposed to be a Entschuldigen Sie.
Deegan. It is supposed to be Deegan.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got about 3 hours into this 8-hour drive, and I'm like, and I've listened to this CD so many times, and I'm so confused, and I'm clearly not getting it. So then I pulled over, and I found a bookstore, and I went in, and I found a teeny tiny book. Here it is, Fast Talk German, and I also found the German for Dummies book, and I sat in the bookstore for about 5 minutes thumbing through the German for Dummies book, and you know what, an interesting thing in the German for Dummies book is that on one of the first pages it says, here's a list of 20 words that are exactly the same in German and in English, and I kind of thought, that would be great to have in a quick reference guide. I don't know if this little quick reference guide has anything like that. I don't think it does. I think my little quick reference guide is okay, you're trying to find the bathroom. Here are the things that you can say. But I thought that was kind of cool. And then it had a list of 30 words that were really, really close. And it's like they had the same roots or something like that. And so then in German it just dresses them up a little bit, like it has to put little male and female clothes on all the words. Yeah. So here you've got a word, but it's pretty much the same as the English word, but you got to like say der before it or something.
Yeah.
Der? Der?
Yeah.
Der? Der?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's very close.
Der?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess, and you were saying you've learned a new language through the Pimsleur stuff, and that worked out for you.
Yes, I used it to learn Spanish, and I felt that it worked really well for me. I really, but I had some background in Spanish, so I didn't have to overcome this initial hurdle. So I kind of listened to the first ones really quickly because that was stuff that I remembered, and then I really liked the fact that they had a lot of repetition, as well as then comes something new, and then they do go back to what you learned a little while ago and make you repeat it again. So it's not. So you don't forget about that. So
yeah, and they were doing that in this one too. But when they would go back, I couldn't remember it. And even though I went back, they had me go back several times. When I got to the end, I couldn't remember it at all. And it's like I would think I'd be able to remember it even just a little bit, but I couldn't remember anything. So.
I remember the exact experience that you're describing. I had this learning a word. I traveled in Poland many years ago, and I tried to learn just probably also for the Polish version for excuse me or something, or for thank you. So it's a really long, complicated word, and I remember spending the whole day in the car trying to remember this one word.
Yeah. And so part of what was going through my mind is like, man, I've got better things I ought to be doing. And it's like, this is so hard. I think some people just have a natural gift at learning languages, and some people don't. And I must be of the don't camp.
If you've made it to this point in your life, now embarking for the first time on learning a new language, then I think automatically you're in the don't camp.
Well, yeah, a need has never really popped up. I've always been in the United States. The idea of going anywhere that requires an airplane has not had great appeal to me. Like, especially, so now for the first time ever, I'm looking into getting a passport. So, all right. Here's the thing about Pimsleur that's a big burn, and that is that with the Pimsleur CD came this little notification saying, congratulations, you've been signed up for the Sucker of the Year award, and we're going to start sending you shit for free, but don't worry, you have 30 days to cancel. And I'm kind of thinking, oh, great. So if I'm out traveling somewhere, I can come home to some kind of thing being in my mail along with a notice that says, and your 30 days are up, therefore you agreed to pay us $1,000. Because it doesn't say how much this is, this next gold level, whatever it is. So now I'm kind of feeling like, oh, crap. Not only do I not...
It's actually pretty expensive. I looked into it, but I had my whole Spanish Pimsleur learning from the library. I never experienced this, their marketing ploy.
I thought $10.
I just say library.
I thought $10, no problem. I can do 10. I'll do $10 and try it out, no problem. But now that it's $10 and it looks like I'm signed up to shell out money for something else, and oh no, I'm just dreading the idea of calling them, and it's going to be like somehow they're really evasive. Oh, you have to call only on Tuesdays between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock or something, and you have to like stand on one leg and squint one eye and spin around 3 times or something, or else you don't get disconnected from their wickedness. All right. I do want to point out, okay, so, the other thing is I'm thinking this German for Dummies book was pretty good. So as I'm leaving the bookstore, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I'll get this. I'll get this German for Dummies book. And the little tiny book that fits conveniently in my pocket, Fast Talk German. And then as I'm getting ready to head out, then I see that the German for Dummies book is available as an audio book, and I thought, okay, all right, fine, I'll hear the whys behind it, because as I'm listening to the Pimsleur stuff, I'm struggling to understand why. Why do you say that? Why do you, if you're saying excuse me, why is there no me in it, but there's a U. In fact, just real quick, could you answer that question? Why is there no me in that, just a you?
Because it's the person that you're talking to that's giving you absolution, so to speak, for, like, if you had done something that you're apologizing for, you could use the same word.
So,
you know what I mean?
So it's like, will you excuse this intrusion?
Yeah. That
All
would
right.
be kind of
Okay.
the way it goes. And there's also a way around this, actually, so that you don't have to decide whether you're talking to a person where you would use Sie or Du. You just say, Entschuldigung. That is just a general way to say it. Entschuldigung.
So
It's even shorter.
Okay, right. It is shorter, and shorter is good. So, Entschuldigen.
Entschuldigung.
Oh, it's pronounced a little different.
Yeah.
So it's Entschuldigen Sie or Entschuldigung.
Entschuldigung.
Gung? Am I?
Gung.
Gung?
Yes.
Okay. Gung? See, now when I was in college, I had an English class from a guy that his native language was German, which was, I'm learning English from a guy where it's a second language. And his name, and I made the mistake of one time, he wanted everybody to refer to him by his first name, which is fine, but apparently I pronounced it so poorly that it was like he made it kind of a big deal out of it in class. Like for 5 minutes, we all got to hear this lecture about disrespect and just can you not take a moment to learn how to properly pronounce somebody's name? And so, and it's because I knew somebody else with the exact same German name once, and that's how everybody referred to Wolfgang. But no, it's pronounced Wolfgang.
Wolfgang.
I didn't even do the V part.
Yes.
Wolfgang. See now, what I did was it was Wolfgang, and that's what it seems like he pronounced it was Wolfgang. So it's the gong instead of gang. Gang. That's like an American horriblism or something.
Yeah.
Something terribly offensive.
I counter that with my name too, because I've stuck to always introducing myself as Susanne, which is the German pronunciation, and it's spelled S-U-S-A-N-N-E. So how would you say that?
I think the first time I met you, I saw it written, and I said Susanna.
You did. Maybe you did. But
and you were like really shocked.
Yeah.
You were like really shocked. Susanna.
It happens very rarely.
But a lot of people, I've seen Susan, where it's S-U-S-A-N.
Yeah.
That's Susan. And then I've also seen Suzanne, which is S-U-Z-A-N-N-E, but yours was definitely S-U-S.
Yeah, A-N-N-E.
Yeah. So I think I somehow stumbled into appropriateness. It's bound to happen once in a while. All right. I wanted to say that, okay, I got at the bookstore, I wanted to buy the German for Dummies book, and I saw, as I was putting the other books back, I saw that they had the German for Dummies audiobook. And I thought, oh, good, because I'm driving today. This will be just the ticket. I'll get this, and then I'll hear what they have to say about it, like that list of words that are the same and stuff like that. This will be great. This will be so much better. So I bought it, and I got in my car, and I continued on my voyage to Seattle, and then here's what the book had to say. 1. Eins. 1. Eins. That's it. It was just nothing but this whole long list of like words pronounced in English and then in German. And I thought they were going to read the book to me. And it's like, this is kind of like the same thing as the Pimper thing. Yeah. So that turned out to be lame. And so as I'm doing this, as I'm going down the road, I'm kind of thinking to myself, well, you know what I could really use is I wonder if there exists a podcast where it's got somebody trying to learn German, and you can ask these questions and try to figure it. So that's why this is my long-winded explanation, trying to come around to saying that's what we're going to try and do with this podcast. Is that I'll be the doofus struggling to learn German. And then you, Susanna, will be the, is it Susanna?
Susanna. Yes, that is actually because the normal pronunciation of an S in German is like a Z sound. Z.
See, now, when you say it, it kind of sounds like it's a combination between an S and a Z, which is a sound we don't normally have here in the United States. We have to pay extra for sounds like that.
Yeah.
We do. We have Z. But then it sounds like when you were first saying your name, it sounds like your Z was more like a Z.
Susanna.
Susanna. All right. I'll just pretend they're Z's. So I noticed that Z's are featured a lot in German. Germany is big on the letter Z, I think.
Oh, the actual letter Z, not this sound?
And maybe the sound also.
The actual letter Z then sounds like.
Oh, okay, like a T and an S together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which ends up, I noticed that some people, where it's a T and an S together, it actually kind of makes a little bit of a ch sound, like chair.
A German word that has TS? I can't think of German words with T and S right now.
We'll get by. We'll make the best of it. So I'm thinking that there are a lot of words that I've picked up over time, probably from the television and from movies. Of course, you know, a boat. I know what boat means.
Boot.
Das Boot.
Boot.
Is it actually boat, like a Canadian version of boat? Boat?
Yeah, boat.
Boat?
Yes, exactly.
The Canadians have it right then, for Germans anyway. And that comes from the movie that was out a few years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think I learned any other German from that movie, even though I watched it. You're reading it and you can't. And then I know how to count to 4 because I was in a play in high school, Little Mary Sunshine. No, wait, that's a different one. I was in that play, but I was also in 10 Little Indians. And so it's an Agatha Christie mystery. I was Rogers the butler, who everybody thought did it, but then I was dead too. And so then so one of the Indians would be a woman from Germany. And so of course if you're in a play, you get to see the play like 40 times. And then on top of that, this German woman is doing calisthenics. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you hear that like 40 times, then it kind of sticks.
Oh, there you have it. The 2 starts with the letter Z. 2.
2. Oh, it starts with a Z?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to spell really any of this stuff because it's all been just audio. You know, so and then of course yes and no. Ja. Yes is ja. We talked about that earlier. Ja.
Yeah.
And then no is 9.
9.
Which for a while when I was trying to think about it, I was worried I was going to confuse it with Russian, but that's niet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like the number 9.
Right. And then the number 9 is actually pronounced different, like
Neun.
Noin? It's like somebody in England. It's 9, mate. All right. So I think that we've done about a half an hour now. I don't know. Have we conveyed a little bit of German? Is there something else? Like what's a good? Do you have something handy to convey German-wise? No, you've got nothing.
I've got.
What's the word for so understand? That was part of the Pimsleur was to try and get me to say understand.
Verstehen.
Verstehen. See, now I probably heard it on that Pimsleur thing. I don't know how many times, but I still can't remember it. And then they did do a weird thing too, where it's like the word English. So we say English, but they said don't say English. You have to say English.
Yes, that's the German word for English. It's English.
So if I go to Germany and I say, do you speak or sprechen Sie English? They'll be like, I have no idea what you're saying. What's this thing you want me to speak?
Except people are also not dumb and they can kind of figure it out. But
right. See, I understand if you go to Paris and you pronounce it wrong, they'll like know what you're saying. But
throw something at you.
But yeah, you have just crapped on our language, so I refuse to understand what you're saying. And whereas if you go outside of Paris, then the people are like the opposite, and they're like, no, I understand what you're saying. You're trying. I get it. But now in Germany, is there any of that? Like, if you go to the big city in Germany, are they going to try to pretend like they don't understand you because they think you're crapping on their language?
I would hope there's not this arrogance, but of course I haven't been in that position in Germany, so I haven't really experienced it one way or the other.
The opportunity to scorn lesser people? Oh, okay, all right.
I mean, I do experience things when I go back now, and I've forgotten some of the cultural things. Like I go into a grocery store and I wait for them to put my groceries in the bags, and they look at me like I'm crazy because I speak perfect German, so I'm not a foreigner. But I've forgotten that in Germany, you bag your own bags. Nobody bags them for you.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. I was talking to one of the translators, and they were saying, you got to come over. We got so much to show you, and all these different places. And so at the time, we were like at a grocery store near the event over in Montana, and I said, so we saw somebody smoking, and I mentioned something about like, I gotta move away because of the smoke, and he's like, you might not like it so much in Europe because it's like 3/4 of the people smoke or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I left Germany about 18 years ago, and it was a humongous difference at that time between there was smoking everywhere everywhere in public places, in most places indoors. I think it's become a little bit better now than it was then, but not like here. So at the time, I almost felt that was one of the big advantages of not being there anymore, that you didn't have to constantly be exposed to the cigarette smoke.
Right. So I know that recently here in the United States, there's a lot of places that are saying, you can't be smoking in any place that serves food or whatever. So I know that in just the last couple of years, I have now gone into bars where I never went into before because I knew that they would smoke in them, and I just always avoided it so much. And it's actually kind of cool, bars.
You want to know the word for smoke? Because it's a really hard one.
Go ahead and say it, and I won't learn it.
Rauchen. Because it has that difficult German sound. That is used in lots of German words. Rauchen.
That sounds like an automatopoeia, isn't that where the word... Exactly. This is what it's like built into the word. Is like, here's what you're going to die of. But the idea, so the interpreters from Germany didn't smoke. Sepp didn't smoke. Sepp's son, when he was here 3 years ago, seems like he did. So... But my impression is that's very common, and if you go into a restaurant, that's pretty much the norm.
Yeah.
And so then that's kind of a deterrent to me. Oh yes, I want to sit in a little tiny airplane seat because I'm a giant guy. I'm 6'6". Like you sitting in an airplane seat is, I want to sit in a teeny tiny airplane seat for like 24 hours, and then do they smoke on the airplanes?
Not in international airplanes, even to Germany. I don't know if inside of Germany.
Oh, jeez. Wow. So, it's a good thing this guy's doing such important work. All right. I think that's a wrap for this podcast. What we'll try and do is we'll try and do a bunch of half-hour-long podcasts. And maybe there will be people out there that will find this to be of some kind of value. Do you have anything else to add?
Tschüss.
Choose?
That means bye.
Bye. Oh, choose.